Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
And welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I'm Dave Gabbard, one of your co-hosts for this special edition of Open Mic Saturday.
This is our foul show.
Yeah, we're having a very foul show. Oh.
Yeah, we duck hunting today.
Yep, got Gene Smith sitting across from me, hunter education guru from the Memphis area. We've got Larry's, if you missed him in one of the early segments, he's duck hunting this morning with Frank Barton of Barton Power Sports, so it should be interesting.
No ducks yet, but
no ducks.
Jeff them had ducks. We heard him shooting a duck.
And so I tuned up Larry's shotgun here several weeks ago, went through it and everything, and so it should be in tip-top form. So
yeah, I'm sure a lot of people may be getting firearms for Christmas.
That's something. Yeah, that's what I'm glad you mentioned that, because it is the Christmas season, and a lot of people will be getting firearms for Christmas, and a lot of people talk about, of course, being a longtime hunter ed instructor, firearm safety in the field, but firearm safety in the home,
right,
is just as important.
Oh yeah.
And so if you are fortunate enough to be receiving a new firearm for Christmas,
or shotgun or rifle,
or getting one,
yeah,
or giving one for Christmas, be sure before you take it out and to the range to shoot that you learn everything about.
Right. Read the manual.
Read the manual. Know how it operates. Because you're like me, in our hunter education curriculum back there, when we talk about the 10 Commandments, firearm safety, the little sentence, they say, firearm accidents, they don't just happen.
No, there's no such thing as an accident.
Yeah, they're either caused by ignorance or you disregard a basic safety rule.
Exactly.
And a lot of times I used to ask kids that, what is the definition of ignorance? And they would always confuse that. They would raise their hand and say, well, that's stupid. No, it's not. Ignorance means you do not know.
Exactly.
Never be ashamed to be ignorant about anything.
Ask questions, yeah.
So I used to tell them, ignorance is when you do not know. Stupid is when you know
and
still do it. Still do it wrong.
Right.
So
we had a young kid one time on a rabbit hunt we had, and I said, okay, we're done. Unload your gun. He said, I don't know how. He had borrowed a Browning, and, of course, we had to show him how to do it. All guns work differently.
Right.
And know how they work.
And that's one of the, the first things that we do. We talked about the ladies, waterfowl hunt that we just put on earlier in the week, and a lot of these ladies had never hunted before.
Right.
So we sat down with a safety session with them and explain to them and have them go through how the shotguns function and how they're loaded and unloaded and how they're never, brought back into the blind, do them in the shooting ports down without being very, very safe, and they never take one into the backside,
right.
That's loaded. So, but, it's...
we always say don't depend on the safety. Just leave the action open. It will not fire with the action open.
And because if you're getting a firearm for Christmas, a lot of times you'll probably get some ammo.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you keep them separated.
Right.
There in the home. And
of course, the best thing, have your gun safe.
Yeah, or some type of storage facility that you can lock.
You can lock it up, yeah.
And
And make sure on your shotgun ammunition, make sure your shotgun will hold like 3-inch or 3 1/4.
Right.
Because there's so many different guns now hold different length shells.
And everything. And
just read that book.
And if you got small children in the house,
oh, yeah.
you know, I've took my children from a very early age. I mean, at 3 years of age, they could understand. And I showed them and everything. And you not touch, you know, because I keep mine under lock.
Right.
You know, in storage and everything. But it's one of the things that I don't know how people's situations vary, but if you know, especially if you have to keep a handgun, you know, in the house, you just want to make sure that it is put that you are the only one with access to it.
Right.
And everything. But yeah, just take your time and read all about that firearm, and you're like me, what you just said. Learn how to load it and unload it safely, because you'll spend more time doing that than you ever will shooting it.
You remember when we had that thing up at Kenton, Tennessee, that youth jamboree? I had my Mountain Man outfit on, and you took a picture of me and put me on a poster. I had 3 kids there, and I leaned over to show them my muzzle loader, and that little boy reached in there and pulled the trigger. Of course, it wasn't loaded, but kids know. They know what that's for. He reached right in there. He wasn't about 5 years old, reached over and tried to pull that trigger. I said, oh, my God.
So it's but that's, you know, you want to be safe.
Yeah, because I tried telling a lady out at Singleton when I used to teach out there, I said, a rifle can go clean through a wall of a house. She was worried about her husband's friends coming over and showing their guns and stuff. I said, tell them, don't bring a loaded gun into a house or a vehicle.
And like we were talking earlier, maybe a lot of youngsters might be receiving air rifles, BB guns and stuff for Christmas. Very, very important to wear that eye protection.
Yes, sir. And BBs bounce.
They will. They're steel, and they will bounce.
Yes. And they come back right at you, too.
And everything, you know. My granddaughter just turned 5, and for her birthday, she got a BB gun.
There you go.
You know, she's only, you know, shoots it under adult supervision and stuff, but it's one of the first things I made sure she has the eye protection on.
Kids are pretty sharp. Once you show them the safety things, they enjoy that. Because I remember one of the guys at work talking about his son was in my class, and his son was correcting his daddy for mishandling the firearm. He said, Daddy, you shouldn't do that, you know. Mr. Gene said, which is true.
What, you know, to teach them. You want to handle, be so familiar and practice the safety with a firearm that it becomes a habit.
Right.
And I always threw that out. I said, define me the definition of a habit. And maybe you get all kinds, but, you know, I said, it's something that you do automatically.
Right.
You don't think about. You've done it so much that it's just you automatically do it. Like, you've got to teach yourself when you pick up a firearm to keep the finger outside the trigger guard. You'd be surprised how many people want to pick it up the first thing that finger goes in.
Yeah, usually we had the kids have certain carries. We would put an empty shell in there, a fired shell.
Right.
And we tell the kid never pick up a gun without opening action, see if it's loaded. And sure enough, one of them would do that. And of course, the kids say, "Oh, you know," they'd always say something about it. But it makes you really leery knowing you had a loaded gun.
And it'd be surprised, experienced people. I had a gentleman that he wanted me to kind of tune his rifle up for him over the summer, and I met him one day. He handed me the case and everything, so I just placed it in the truck. So when I get home, I pull it out of the case. First thing I do is unload it, you know, or check to make sure it's unloaded. I open the bolt, threw a live round.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Out of the chamber. So he thought he had it unloaded, but he'd been carrying that rifle, you know, around with a live round in the chamber.
Well, that's like that Eddie Eagle video where this kid found his daddy's semi-automatic pistol in the basement, and he pulls the magazine out. He said, "Look, it's empty." But he went to the other boy, and he pulled the trigger and shot him. He didn't know it was one in the chamber.
Right.
So that's why you have to very physically look in there and make sure it's empty.
Yeah, and so So that's there's I guess no greater joy. Some people look at firearms different. I've been growing up. I've been shooting since I was 6 years old, and
you shoot competition all over the country
and everything. But when I was growing up, I had anytime we had a family get together up in the country, it wasn't long before the 22 rifles come out.
Oh yeah,
we're having little shooting contests out there. And
I love plinking.
Most of it was driving nails.
Oh yeah,
through bottle caps.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
but so it was always, the
it don't have to be a high-powered rifle to have fun.
Oh no, and so that is the. I guess that's back. I won't say way back when, I guess, that the people, a lot of times the people in your community, that they were recognized for their marksmanship ability.
Oh, yeah. Alvin York.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the things. And
well, back then when people were poor, they only needed one shot because they didn't have enough money to buy ammunition and had to make it count.
Yeah. And that's what they used to do, have the shooting contest, because there was nothing. Everybody hunted,
right?
So it wasn't they didn't go out and just kill everything to prove how good the shot they were, because they needed it to subsist on.
Exactly.
So they would get together, certain times of the year, and have a beef shoot. Or a blanket shoot.
Well, like a Hunter Stafford thing up there in Brighton, Tennessee, we have a ham shoot, a skeet shoot,
right,
archery and stuff.
And so I guess you just mentioned the movie, Sergeant York with Gary Cooper. I can remember seeing that as a young, and that's what got me interested in black powder.
Oh, yeah.
That's that thing there where they have the turkey shoot in there.
That's a real challenge there.
And have that over the log shoot, they call it up there, and they still do that shoot today.
Yeah,
up there in Pall Mall, Tennessee, have a lot of competitors show up.
Oh yeah,
and but so if you get a new firearm for Christmas or after the first of the year, and you wait until they put them on sale or something.
Yeah,
take time, and if you buy one for yourself and you're not quite sure, seek out.
Yeah, you're bound to have a friend have a gun similar to that, and they've been hunting and shooting for a long time.
And but that's the key part. We want everybody to be safe.
Exactly.
Hey, I hear music.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Stuart pointing at me, and so I guess this segment's over with. Get up, take a break. And if our voices hold out, come back and join us for another segment of Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Tennessee.